Welcome to my webinar, The 7 Impactful Strategies for Using Photography to Elevate Your Brand Online. I'm super excited that you guys have chosen to spend this time with me. Like I said earlier, this will be about 2 hours. I will try to be as swift as I can, but this is an information-packed webinar. So I don't want to just gloss over things, but I want to make sure you guys are getting the best use out of your time and getting the most bang for your buck. Of course, you didn't pay for this, it was free, but with everything I do want to make sure that I am delivering. So, how to get the most from this webinar? I highly suggest that you turn your phone onto silent if you can, or flip over the screen so you don't see it if you're someone who gets distracted by notifications that pop up. Shut your door if you are someone who is in an office or in a room where you can have privacy, and shut your door, or put on headphones if you're in a public space. That always ends up helping me, just so you can be immersed in this information. Make sure to take notes. In my emails to you guys, I did tell you to make sure you took notes, and to write down any questions that you had at this point, so that you can ask them to me if I don't answer them for you. I promise you guys, if you spend a little bit of undivided time with me, you're gonna learn a lot. This really is an action-packed, strategy-packed, information-packed webinar. If you guys know me, you know I always deliver a high value of content. So spend this 2 hours with me. You're gonna learn a lot, I promise you. Don't forget to download the study guide. The link is in the description. If you haven't downloaded that already, it is helpful to have that, I think. And it'll help you to keep track of where you're at and take notes as you're thinking. But if you don't download the study guide, no big deal. To just take copious amounts of notes. Very important. Okay, you are in the right place. If you are a blogger who needs great photography for posts and social media, if you're an online business owner who styles product shots and wants to sell via social platforms, or you are a social media enthusiast who wants to grow their following online to spread awareness of their personal brand or causes that matter to you. So if any of these sound like you are in the right place. I like to run through really quickly the 7 strategies before we dive deep, just so you guys can get a sense of what's to come. Strategy number 1 is the common mistake you're making with your photography and how to course correct. That's what we're talking about with strategy 1. Strategy 2 is a common misconception that is holding you back from using photography in your brand. I bet you if I asked any of you right now that aren't using photography, you would probably tell me that you would give me a reason, and it's a big misconception, and we're going to talk about that in strategy 2. Strategy 3 is how I organize my business promotion and the strategy you can implement today to see a boost in your sales, following, and traffic. How does that sound? Who wouldn't want to get those boosts in sales or following or traffic through social media? We can do it starting today using strategy number 3. Strategy number 4 is the right type of images to use for promotion and which type to dump, which type to break up with. This is something that is a big part of the idea of using these strategies to elevate your brand. A lot of people are using images to promote, but not everyone is using the right type of images. So we're going to identify the right type and the wrong type in strategy number 4. Strategy number 5 is a photo-based community building strategy that will elevate your brand and help you find a tribe of new customers online. Having that tribe, finding those people, attracting the right eyes to your account so that you can promote to the right people is the biggest part, the most really growing a business online and promoting online. So strategy number 5 is going to tell you about a strategy I use and love to build community through my social media and through photography. Strategy number 6 is how and where to use photography in your brand. If you're not sure, if you feel like you might be missing places, this is where we're going to talk about where and how you use your photography. And finally, strategy number 7 is the number 1 resource you need to have to make photography an easy, streamlined part of your business going forward. Okay, so if you are someone whose business will rely on photography for product shots, for branding, to share, to share behind the scenes in social media, this is going to be an easy, streamlined process for you. I want to make this easy, and it's the personal resource I use to get my photography done and to save myself time and energy and just make photography an easy, pleasant part of my business. Okay? Now, stick with me until the end. And I'm going to tell you guys how you guys are going to learn how you can get my shooting with a smartphone video guide to learn my tips for shooting and editing on the go. I know this is a really big question. A lot of people ask me is how to shoot with a smartphone, how to get better pictures out of a smartphone, how to edit with a smartphone. If you wait until the end, if you stick with me for the length of this presentation, you guys are going to learn how to get this for free, this shooting with a smartphone video guide for free, okay? Now, if you're here today, you already know that photography is crucial to major online success, right? You wouldn't have signed up for a photography webinar if you weren't interested in it, if you didn't know that it was something that leads people to more income, more revenue, more success online. I want to give you guys some stats because for me, it's not just about sharing strategies with you guys that I've tried and have worked. It's also really about understanding metrics and statistics and real measurable results that are across the board. So I want to share these with you. When it comes to photography and bloggers, blog posts with images get 94% more total views. Imagine that. If you're a blogger right now and you're not using images with your blog posts, you are missing out on a whole bunch of views. And there's a lot of reasons for this. SEO, search engine optimization, falls into this. Also, Google Images. People, when they search, are not just searching for words, they're also searching for images. That all leads to why you get more traffic and more views. But if you are a blogger who's not using images, you have a really big opportunity to increase your traffic. So let's talk about photography and e-commerce. 67% of consumers say that the quality of a product image is very important in selecting and purchasing a product. So if you're someone on this call today who has a product-based business, you know already the struggle is real. You want to make sure you've got those great product images because the product image is what sells the product for you, okay? In an online store, customers think that the quality of a product's image is more important than product-specific information, a long description or ratings or reviews. So this is really interesting because basically what we're saying is that people would rather purchase based on what they're seeing than on whatever details you're giving or what other people have said. So seeing really is believing for a lot of people. And the one thing about online business that makes it so hard to sell products very often is the fact that you don't get that person-to-person experience, and people can't sit there and pick up your object or pick up your good or your item and see it for themselves or try it for themselves or touch it for themselves and experience it in real life. So that picture really has to speak volumes for the quality of that product in order for people to be compelled to make a purchase. In 2015, 40% of US e-commerce buyers said social media influenced their buying decisions. Okay, so this one's really big too. 40%, that's a huge amount of people who are purchasing online that are saying that they bought something online because they saw it in social media. So how many times, you guys can look in your own life, how many times have you seen something on Instagram and thought, oh my God, I have to buy that? Or you've watched a YouTube video on a review on something and thought, you know what, I really want this. Or you saw a tweet that mentioned a product and you looked it up and it looked great. Social media really influences the way people are buying. And I realized that this stat is actually just the US stat. The Canadian stat for this was 35%. And across Europe and overseas, it was just as high. It was still a significant portion of e-commerce buyers who are seeing things on social media and wanting to buy them, which means you need to be on social media with these great product photos in order to be attracting sales. Okay, more photography and social media. Tweets with images receive 150% more retweets 18% more clicks, and 89% more favorites. Images really speak volumes. Your posts on social media will get more engagement if you have a picture attached. Photography-based platforms like Instagram and Snapchat are some of the fastest growing networks. The fastest growing network right now is YouTube, right? That's the fastest growing one. Next is Instagram and Snapchat. They're blowing up like crazy. And the reason is that pictures speak 1,000 words. So it's very important for you to be on those social platforms if you want to sell online. And it's very important that your photography be up to par so that you're making those connections with people. Finally, Facebook's algorithm is skewed in favor of using original photography as opposed to text alone. So, if you've seen those text graphics, that people put up, they just don't convert as well in Facebook. And Facebook's algorithm, which is very tricky, actually penalizes you if you're not using an image. So you want to make sure that you're using good photography on Facebook, because Facebook is totally about policing themselves really with their algorithm to make sure only the best, most high quality content is getting seen. Now, my goal for you in this webinar and in your photography in general is to understand that with stats like these, it's no surprise that brands are upping their photography game to connect with potential customers and community members. I don't want your brand to fall behind the trends, so my goal for you today is to understand the key strategic ways to use photography for your brand so you stand out online and start building a larger following with more success. That's what I want for you guys. This is like a no-brainer. And I love using the example of like J.Crew, right? Like J.Crew or Target. You see them using great images all the time for lookbooks on their social media. This is something that people are doing. This is something where big businesses are putting their money into great images because it does connect. So if you see big businesses doing it, it clearly is the way to go because they're the people that have the most money to spend on research and consumer trends. And I base a lot of the things that I do and a lot of strategies I do off of what bigger businesses do because they're putting in the time and effort to kind of figure out what's working and what's not. So I don't really have to do as much work. I just have to follow their lead. And photography is a game changer for businesses online across the board, okay? So let's talk about who I am in case you're not familiar with me or in case you recently stumbled upon me and signed up for this webinar. Hello, my name is Alexis Giostra. I'm also known as MissTrenchcoat all across the internet. I've been blogging since 2008 and I've been on YouTube since 2009. I'm a productivity guru, a business coach, and a self-proclaimed tech geek. But most importantly, I left my sales job at a Fortune 50 company after 5 years to start my own online business in May of 2014, and I replaced my income in 6 months. Okay, you guys, so I actually just hit my 2-year anniversary. May 20th was the 2-year anniversary of when I left my job and started out on my own. And I'm still doing this. I'm still going strong. I have so far beat the statistics of small businesses. So I'm someone who has been in this game for a long time. I do have a formal corporate background, which is very interesting to really understand about me, as I have worked in corporate sales and marketing. And a lot of the strategies that I share with you guys, they cross over with small business and corporate business. So I think that I have a really great insight into online marketing because of this very traditional corporate sales background I have, paired with that love of technology and the internet that I've just had since I was younger. I really am someone who is paying attention to what's going on, and I have a lot of great strategies and advice to share with you guys, okay? Let's talk about my personal brand growth, because if you're following me right now, if you came to this webinar right now, you did so because you found me online, which meant I was doing something right. Okay, so my Instagram following quadrupled in 2015, okay? So I grew from I think it was a little less than 5,000 to 20,000 followers in 2015. My blog page views have tripled in 2015. That was the last full year, which is why I used 2015 as my benchmark for that. But my page views went from annually about about 500,000 page views a year to 1.5 million page views a year. My 2015 shop revenue grew 250% in Q1, 120% in Q2, another 124% in Q3, and 140% in Q4. I think when I added it all up, I 6x'd my revenue in 2015. 6x'd it. Isn't that crazy? Now, you might be asking yourself, why did I experience all this growth? Two things. Number one, I was building consistent trust between my brand and my existing audience. So I had an audience, like I said, when I started out 2015, I was getting 500,000 page views. I had 5,000 about followers on Instagram. I can't remember where I was on YouTube at that time, but it doesn't matter. It was like something like 10 to 15 thousand followers on Instagram. I had this consistent, like pretty good following, like I feel like once you get past 1,000 followers, you're doing pretty good as a business. And I was able to grow even more because I was building a consistent trust with my existing customers and audience members and myself and my brand through my photography. And also, new audience members were becoming aware of my brand every day. And that's because I was using great images and utilizing these strategies. So the point of this is, why all this growth is because I used these tried and tested online marketing strategies consistently, and it helped grow my brand. And it still helps to grow my brand even today. So that is why you would be interested in these strategies. So let's talk about why these numbers matter, okay? It isn't a vanity thing that I mention these numbers. I am proud of my social media following because I did work hard to achieve it, but bigger than that, I really have seen a direct correlation between my styled photography and the growth of my brand. The truth of the matter is that when it comes to numbers in social media, they do matter. More followers mean more sales and more opportunities, no matter what business you are in. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable about the number of followers they have on any social media. I really do believe that we can all work together and move forward and go through these strategies and grow. And to some extent, how many followers you have is not really the be all and end all, but more followers always means that you're getting more opportunities. So that's why we do strive to continue to grow and better our numbers on social media, because we want to be attracting new customers. We want to be bringing new people into our business and into our brand so that we are expanding our reach and growing our income. And all of that is the goal. All of that is the goal. So I'm a true believer and a success story of how powerful great images can be for your brand, okay? I really do think that I've really walked the walk of what I've been talking. So that's why I really believe in this stuff, okay? So let's jump in and get these strategies started, okay? So strategy number one is the common mistake you are making with your photography and how to course correct. You ready? This is what you're doing right now that you need to stop doing. You need to stop using other people's images. Why? You are putting yourself at risk legally. And you're putting your brand at risk when using images that aren't 100% in line with your brand story. Okay, so let's talk about the legal risk of using other people's images. I know that a few years ago, and even when I started blogging back in 2008, it was the norm to take pictures offline, search Google, image search, find a pretty picture, attach it to a blog post. Unfortunately, right? It's, the legal system is caught up with that, okay? So basically, copyright, law says that you can't use an image unless the person who created it gives you permission. So a lot of times, I think many of us are still in this bad system where we're using images that we don't have the right to use. And when we do that, we're putting ourselves at risk to be sued. And people get sued for thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like, I've seen horror stories of bloggers who have been sued for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for using images without permission. So this is definitely the day and age where you have to be using your own stuff. Like, you just have to be. Now, you're putting your brand at risk using images that aren't yours. Why? Because when you have an image, it doesn't matter how close to your branding and image is, or how right it seems. When the image is not created for you or wasn't created by you, it's always going to be a little bit off. It's not going to be 100% in line with your branding. How many times have you looked for an image online and just had to settle for something that was close enough? That really ends up causing harm to your branding because you're not being super clear about your brand and you're not being super consistent. The other thing that ends up happening with this is that when you are using images that are online, right? Other people are using those images too. So the best way to protect your brand and your business is to use images that are 100% yours. Remember, you aren't really standing out if your images aren't unique to you. So if you are using images you're finding online that you didn't create, that you don't 100% own the rights to, you're not standing out. You're just adding to that noise out there on the internet. That's not really, it's not going to help you grow. You're just kind of there. And you're not showing people that there's something different about you. You're kind of getting lost in the crowd, and you don't want to be lost in the crowd online with social media and online marketing, because it means you're not going to be growing and you're not going to be getting the right sales that you should be getting. Okay? So how do you course correct this? I want you to go through your website, your social media, everywhere online, and remove all the images that don't belong to you or weren't shared with permission. Super important. I don't want you guys to get sued, okay? I want you to take down any graphics from Instagram that are also disrupting the flow of images. So what I mean by graphics are, sometimes people create these sort of like text-based graphics. Now, if it's something like an inspirational quote that looks cute, fine, you can leave that. But if you have like sale information on a picture that's just kind of like text, or you've screenshotted the notes app on your phone with like a note on it and put it on Instagram, please take that off, because it really is muddying up your brand online. And there are better ways to do that. There are better ways to share and convey that information with people than to have those ugly sort of graphics that are ruining the flow of images. Also, what I want you to do is go ahead and identify the places in your website or in your platforms that need upgraded original styled images. So as you go through and you remove the images that don't belong to you, or maybe you do have some images that were, that were common, like Creative Commons, you have some images that you were allowed to use. You still want to replace those with images that are your own. So make sure you make a note of where you need to be adding your own original styled images. It's very important, so you can go ahead and fix those in time. You don't have to do it overnight, but remove anything immediately that does not belong to you and you have no rights to it, because that will put you at risk. And then just identify the places that need, new images as you go. Okay, so that was strategy number 1. Okay, now strategy number 2 is that common misconception that is holding you back from using photography in your brand. Like I said, if I were to ask you guys why you were using, why you're not using photography, you're probably going to give me this excuse. So most people think that they don't have time to do this. Okay, they don't have time to take the pictures or learn how to take the pictures. Time is the problem here. If this is something that you would say to that answer, if that's the answer you would have given me when I asked you that question, please pay attention, okay? So if you think you don't have time, I want you to consider this. How much time does it take you to search the internet for images that you're using now? If you're someone who is using images now. Because I remember back when I was using other people's images too, early on when I was a blogger, it would take me forever to find images that I liked. It really is time consuming. And people who I've worked with, helping them with their photography in the past, previous students of mine, one of the big things that I've been told is that it really does take more time to look for images that are, Creative Commons, that you have the right to use and things like that. If you want to try to be the person who's, doing the right thing and looking for the images that you are allowed to use so you're not going to get sued, that takes so much time, okay? So if you're saying that you don't have time, you're already wasting time looking for other people's images. And remember, if you are just taking the first thing that you see without researching the copyright, right? So if, let's say you're like, oh no, it doesn't take me that long. I just search something and I grab it off the internet. So if you're just taking the first thing that you see without making sure that you've got that copyright is okay for you to use, again, you're putting yourself at legal risk. The truth of the matter is that creating your own photography ends up saving you time because you always have what you need at your fingertips. You guys, I have files and files and files of photographs on my computer that I've taken that when I go to write blog posts, I don't even have to worry about taking a picture usually because I've got a picture in my computer that's ready to go, okay? And that's because I've streamlined the process. So if you struggle with finding the time to do this, strategy number 7 is going to be a lifesaver for you. So make sure you also pay attention to strategy number 7 because that is really where this whole idea of streamlining and making everything easy comes full circle, okay? But if you think you don't have the time, I'm telling you, you do have the time, especially if you're already wasting time looking for images that don't belong to you. Now, I want to ask you guys a question, and I want you to leave me a yes or no in the comments, okay? Would you be interested in a solution that could teach you how to take great images and help you streamline the process to save even more time? So if there was a solution that was teaching you how to take the pictures and how to streamline the entire process so that you're saving time, you're optimizing, you're being really efficient, and then you've got those great images to use at your fingertips. You don't have to worry about taking photos every day for Instagram because you've got the photos sitting there in your computer. Would you be interested in that solution? Leave me a yes or no comment, okay? And I'm going to keep moving on, but this is going to be really important. We're going to come back to that. So what's the solution for this time management issue? It really is that you need to start shooting your own images, okay? I would say that if you want to get started with shooting your own images, you need to use the best camera you have. I use a DSLR camera, but if the best camera you have is your iPhone, use it. Just use the best camera you have access to because quality really does matter when it comes to these images. But to be honest with you, the types of photos that you can get off of like my iPhone 6 Plus, right, takes great shots. It's not that far off from a point and shoot camera. So the great thing is that really good quality photography is really not that hard for most of us to get into because the technology is just at such a place where a lot of standards are being met that are just really great images, like even in just your phone. So first step for shooting your own images is to use the best camera you have. I also suggest shooting multiple images at one time. So, like I said, you don't want to be sitting there and taking Instagram photos every single day, like when you want to post. You want to make sure you have those images already shot so that you're going to be able to post them. It makes it so much easier. And the same thing, not just with Instagram, but with your blog. Like I said, I've got files of photos that I use for my blog, and it means that all I have to do is go into those files and select the one I want and put it in my blog post. It makes it so much easier when you're batching the work. Bulk processing work is always a time saver, okay? Like everyone knows that. It's always going to help you save time. So if you're not someone right now, like remember, if you're someone who's thinking to yourself, I know this, right? Like it makes sense. I should be bulk processing. I get that it's common knowledge, but common knowledge is not always common practice. So just make sure as we're going through this, right? You're asking yourself whether or not you really are doing it, even if you know you should be. If you're not putting it into practice, you're not actually getting the benefit, okay? My final tip for you for shooting your own images is to start getting comfortable behind a camera. Photography is a skill that is learned, not inherited. No one's born being a good photographer, but the great thing is that, again, because photography is so accessible through our iPhones or through point and shoot cameras, it makes it much easier for us to actually become good photographers. We just have to get comfortable with the idea of shooting our own images and practice. It makes perfect, right? If photography is learned, it means you have to execute and practice as much as you can, and you'll start getting those A+, like perfect shots of your products, okay? So that's how to get started shooting your own images, okay? Strategy number 3 is how I organize my business promotion and the strategy you can implement today to see a boost in your sales, following, and traffic, okay? You ready for this one? You need to start using an editorial calendar, okay? So an editorial calendar it's all about having a plan for which products and content you are going to promote through social media. It helps you take the guesswork out of choosing what to post to your feeds on a regular basis. So the concept of an editorial calendar is when you literally sit down and plan what you are going to do. Now, if you plan what you're going to do and you batch taking all the photos, you've saved yourself so much time. So they go hand in hand, the whole idea of batching your work and using an editorial calendar. When you have the foresight to plan a little bit, it makes it much easier for you to execute and you save so much time. So my tips for an editorial calendar is to use whatever planning method you like. I plan in my paper planner, but if you use like a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar, or you just want to take out a notebook and start kind of sketching out ideas of the photos or the products or the promotions you want to share on your blog or on social media, it'll make it much easier for you to go sit down and take all the pictures necessary to fulfill those. And then instead of having to take the photos one by one on the days that you're going to share them on Instagram or Twitter or whatnot or on Facebook, you've got them all bulk created. So it's super easy to share them. It's very important too, when you've got your editorial calendar, is to schedule the time to plan as well as scheduling time to take the photos. And on top of that, scheduling times to write the compelling copy for your descriptions. Because especially if you're talking about Instagram or Facebook, it's not just taking a photo and sharing it. It's planning the time to take the photo. And then you want to write that really good description. And you obviously need that time already set aside where you've planned everything out. So you want to have time to plan, time to actually take the photos, and then time to write the copy for your descriptions, okay? I use an app called Hootsuite. So I would suggest to use an app like Hootsuite to manage exactly what you're posting in advance, especially if you're someone who's using social media. So if we're talking about Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, Hootsuite gives you the ability to upload your photos, put in that description, and schedule it so that it's automatically posting. So it will auto post Twitter and Facebook for you. Hootsuite's great. It will auto post Twitter or Facebook. When it comes to Instagram, though, because Instagram's API does not allow any third-party apps to post for you, Hootsuite will send you a reminder. So you'll upload the photo and the description, and it'll send you a reminder on your phone. And then it tells you to just it asks you if you want to post it onto Facebook, onto Instagram. And what it'll do is it'll copy everything over to Instagram for you, and then you can post it. So Hootsuite's really great for helping you actually execute on your editorial calendar for social media so that you're always putting out those promotional images on time, and that you're following your schedules and you're following your promotions and things like that, okay? Now, strategy number 4 is the right type of images to use for promotion and which type to dump, okay? On the screen right now, I'm showing you guys 2 images. The one on the left is a fully text graphic, okay? That's to promote my shop. It says Strange and Charmed, Inspired Productivity, Shop Now, printable planner inserts, sticker sets, journaling cards, and more, okay? That's one promotional graphic. On the right, we've got an image of a planner open with the inserts. We've got some stickers, some washi tape, some pens, some journaling cards. In terms of a promotional graphic, which one do you prefer? Which one would you be more if you saw this in social media, which one would compel you to look a little harder and say, oh, that's interesting? I'm going to go with the one on the right that's actually the photograph, okay? Because the problem is with the text one is that although it tells you like shop now and what you can buy, it doesn't really illustrate anything to you. The image on the right illustrates to you what you would be buying. It shows you examples of what you'd be buying. So it gives you something to connect to, okay? I want to make sure you guys understand that you should be using images in place of those sorts of text graphics, okay? And the reason is because boring graphics do not connect with your audience, but the illustrative images do. Do not use graphics in a space where pictures are expected. So it's one thing if you created that graphic and you put it on Twitter or you shared it in a blog post that had other images, right? But for example, a place like Instagram, pictures are always what's expected on Instagram. So if you use a graphic, like a text graphic, you're not going to get as much engagement on something that just says, I'm having a sale or something like that. You're not going to get the engagement that you're looking for. So make sure that you don't use graphics wherever pictures are really expected. The good thing is that you can always add text to your images if you have something to say, right? So you can take a picture and you can overlay text. It's not like you can't add text to the photo if you want to give details about a sale or something like that. That kind of helps people to understand why you're posting the image, but you don't want to just use text graphics alone. Now, in order to create those images where you're taking photos and adding text, I use Photoshop, but you can also use free photo editing apps online like Canva or PicMonkey. And then on your iPhone, like there's so many different apps that you can use. I use one called Over a lot to add text to my photos. So there are a lot of options you have for adding text to pictures. Just don't use plain text graphics. They just don't convert, okay? And they're ugly. Don't want you to be messing up your brand with ugly things. Okay, you guys ready for strategy number 5? We're breezing through this, you guys. Breezing through. Okay. Strategy number 5 is a photo-based community building strategy that will elevate your brand and help you find a tribe of new customers online. You ready? I want you to host a photo challenge, okay? The photo challenge is that photo strategy that will help you find your tribe. Photo challenges are an amazing way to find your tribe online. All you have to do is theme a challenge in line with your brand, products, or services, and your ideal customers will find you. This is a scenario of if you build it, they will come. Communities love interaction, and getting your followers engaged will help your following grow. Okay, I've got a link in the study guide so that teaches you all about how to create your own photo challenge if you guys need help. But essentially, the way photo challenges work, right, is you will kind of create these prompts that are themed to your business or themed to your brand. You'll share a graphic that has those prompts on them. It's probably the one time it's okay to have a text-based graphic, but please make sure it has a little bit of frills on it. And the idea is that you share it with your community, and your community gets engaged, and then your community reposts the picture. So what ends up happening is your community is ending up doing promotion for you. So every time someone in your community posts a picture in line with your photo challenge, I'll give you an example. I do a photo challenge called Charm GTD. It's all about productivity and planning and getting things done. When I have a hashtag that I use for that, which is Charm GTD, because you have a hashtag so everyone understands that the photos are part of that photo challenge. And basically what happens is when someone in my community that posts a photo as part of that challenge, all of their followers see it as well. So when the followers see that picture, if they like the picture, if they're curious about what is this hashtag, what is this photo challenge, it basically helps you to cast a wider net in your own community. And let's be honest, if you have people in your community already, chances are the people in your community know people that are just like them that would also fit really well in your community. So this is why this is a tribe and sort of like engagement community sort of building activity. And of course, it's all about photography, and you get engaged and you put great pictures in, and you've got people who are sitting there for a month or for however long of time you're hosting this challenge for, who are every day coming to check your Instagram and getting engaged. So it'll help your photos get more likes because people are looking for your photos so that they can like them, and it helps you grow your following because your followers who are engaged are basically doing promotion for you through this really fun community-based activity. So host a photo challenge, you guys. There is a link in the study guide that'll tell you how to get it done if you're not sure how to get started with a photo challenge, okay? Strategy number 7 is how and where to use photography in your brand, okay? In case you're not sure how or where to use the photography, I want you to leave your mark everywhere, okay? So photography belongs everywhere, okay? You should be putting your original styled photography everywhere you possibly can. Obviously, social media photos and headers, in your blog posts, in Facebook updates, in obviously Instagram, in your tweets as often as you can, put them in your tweets, in your email marketing campaigns, obviously in your shop listings. Use as many photos as you can in your shop listings to help illustrate your products or services to your customers. And anywhere that you can upload a photo, I want you to upload a photo. Like, legitimately, photography is a way to connect with people online. If there's an option to put a picture in there, you should not leave it blank. I'm thinking too about like the YouTube cover art, your Facebook cover art, your actual Facebook photo. Make sure your Facebook photo is not just a graphic. Hopefully it's something that's a little bit more illustrative, or I get it if you're going to use your logo, that makes sense. But then make sure that your Facebook banner, that Facebook header image, is something that actually is an image that will get people engaged, because it's very important to put this photography that's branded to you. It's your brand. You took the pictures. All the pictures are topical to you and your products and your services. You put those pictures everywhere. Anywhere you can upload a photo, put it there, okay? Next is strategy number 7, which is the number one resource you need to have to make photography an easy, streamlined part of your business going forward. So remember, we talked about the one misconception, which is that you don't have enough time. And I said that strategy number 7 is going to bring it all full circle to you, okay? If you feel like you don't have enough time to get this done and make it happen. What I want you to do is I want you to build a styled stock photography library. A styled stock photography library is the single resource I tell every one of my business and coaching clients to create, okay? It's a collection of branded stock images that you own 100% and can use all over to support your brand. It's a major time and money saver. These images will help you stand out against the crowd of other brands that are behind the times and using generic stock images, or worse, paying for licensing to use images that anyone could buy, okay? That's something else that I haven't mentioned yet, but when I was talking about removing any images that are not your own, there are a lot of places online that will sell styled stock photography to you. The problem with using those is that if you can purchase that styled stock photography for whatever the price is, $10, $20, I've seen pictures cost up to $75 a pop, okay? Not only do I think people really don't have the money to do that, because you need a lot of photography if you're going to build a cohesive brand online, but the other problem with that is if you can buy that image, so can your competitor. So what is keeping your competitor from fully copying you? And I know that is like a worst case scenario, right? But it is something that happens. And online, the reason you have a brand, the reason you build this strong brand is that so people always are able to identify you and your products, and they don't get them confused with anyone else. So why would you purchase the right to be copied? Like, easily. I don't get why people do that. So please do not waste your time with purchasing styled stock photography, because if you can buy it, so can anybody else. And that means that the images are not unique, right? When people see them, I see this all the time. There are a bunch of very popular styled stock photography companies out there now. And whenever I go to I'll go to a blog, right? Maybe a blog I read, or I found something on Pinterest, and I'll see an image. And I'll be like, I've seen this image 1,000 times before because this stock photography website sells it. So to me, it's like you're not making a unique mark online, because you are just copying. You're just taking something that someone else created and using it for yourself. Trust me, you're just never going to stand out if you use someone else's images. And what I love to use, the example I love to use about this is like going back to like J. Crew and Target are always, creating these beautiful campaigns where they're taking images and sharing them in lookbooks and all that jazz. You would never see J. Crew use someone else's images. They have someone who does the photography for them. And I realize that if you're a small business or a budding brand, you may feel like, okay, I can't afford a photographer, so how am I going to do this? How you do this is by batching your work, planning out what you're going to be shooting, like we talked about before, building that editorial calendar and building that styled stock photography library with all the images in it that you are free to use anywhere you want online. And this is what I have. I have this huge library of images for myself that I've taken, and you've seen them. You see them every day in my blog posts, on my YouTube header images. You see them on my Instagram or in my Twitter. All of these images are images I've taken that I own. No one has the right to them except for me. And this is the reason why my brand is so visual online and so powerful online. So I really want you to build that styled stock photography library for yourself. It really is a time saver. When you invest a little bit of time taking the photos, you're going to save yourself so much time in the long run, okay? So that was the 7th strategy. So let's really quickly recap what you've learned. And we're actually doing really good on time because I refuse to get caught in a jabber fest here and go on a tangent, which is good though, which means we have more time for Q&A. So let's review really quickly what we've learned, okay? You've learned that it doesn't pay to use other people's images, okay? You've learned that shooting your own images is the time saver. That is the time-saving solution. You've learned that an editorial calendar can help you harness great images for your brand, okay? That is really what you want to make sure that you are forward planning your images. It will go a long way to make sure you're building cohesive promotions and always creating that consistent schedule so that your audience can learn to trust you and you have that trust developing between you and your brand and your customers, okay? You've learned the right and wrong type of graphics to use. Like we said, no text graphics, just photo graphics, and you can add text on top. You've learned that photo challenges are a great community builder and a customer magnet because you're using your existing followers to basically promote for you. It's awesome. And you've learned that your branded photography belongs everywhere that your brand lives online. Like I said, you want to put those photos everywhere. And finally, last thing we talked about was that you need a library of styled stock images in order to make this all a reality, okay? So, why are you here today? You probably are here today because you know that great styled photography can work wonders for elevating your brand, but you aren't confident in your photography skills. You want to get more sales on your products and services, but you aren't sure how to get the right shots that will connect with your customers. And finally, you want to up-level your brand and get your message across to your community and even potential brand partners, but you aren't sure how to convey your brand through your photography, okay? Do you see how important styled photography is to your brand? I want you to leave me a yes or no in the comments, okay? Let me know, yes or no. Do you see that styled stock photography is super important to your brand? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Because right now you need to make a choice. You have 2 choices. You can keep doing what you're already doing and continue to grow at the same pace and get the same sales and the same reaction from your audience. Or you can learn how to improve your photography right now with me. You can follow my lead and use my proven strategy to see new results for your brand and business. I want you to ask yourself, do you honestly have the time and energy to figure it all out by yourself? I'm going to guess no, because you're here today, which meant you're still on the hunt for that solution. You're still on the hunt for the answer. If you are ready to take the next step, I want to invite you to join me for the Digital Styling Lightroom. It's a styled stock photography video course that I've created for bloggers, business owners, and social media mavens, okay? This course is, like I said, a video-based course, okay? So you can enjoy the course from any device, when and wherever you like. Any computer, any tablet, any phone that has an internet connection, you can go through the modules and watch the videos and learn how to master the branded stock photography for your own business. Let's cover really quickly what you'll learn. You're going to learn the fundamentals of digital photography, okay? So that's very important first. I mean, a lot of people, take photography for granted. We feel like it's something we already are aware of because we've been so close to it for so long, but I really talk about the fundamentals of how to take great photography, and things like the exposure triangle that pertain to higher end or DSLR cameras, things like that. So we'll talk about that in the course. I talk about how to create a set for your styled photo shoots. Okay, so this is really important to be able to take all of these pictures in bulk. You want to have a really great set, that you can go ahead and take those pictures, and you've got that set up, and you don't have to worry about it. So you establish that set, and you take your photos, and you're good to go. I also teach you formal photography composition. So basically, what makes an image good, how to actually compose your shots so that you are creating eye-catching images. There are these fundamentals of photography that people, have mastered throughout the years, and it's like a collective knowledge on photography composition. And I teach that to you in like a crash course in one of the modules. Everything's very straightforward, and I give you illustrative examples of how each of the formal photography composition styles works and how you can use them in your own images. I also teach you, you actually get to see my exact styled photography workflow. So if you've ever wondered to yourself, I wonder how Alexis does her photos, you actually get to watch me do an entire photo shoot, okay? And that is, I feel like that video it's pretty long. It's about like an hour and a half, that module, because we're going through and I set up and take a bunch of photographs for my styled stock photography library. So if you think about it, when you're talking about saving time, I mean, if I spend an hour to an hour and a half shooting a couple dozen photos that I can then use for like the next month or two or even more, I think that's a real time saver, don't you? I would definitely say so. So you learn my exact styled photography workflow. And finally, this is a really great addition to this course, is I teach you how to edit your photos and create effective advertisements for your business in Photoshop. So the 5th module of the course is all about editing in Photoshop. If you've ever been someone who's bought Photoshop and you're not sure how to use it, part of creating these great branded images is learning how to shoot and taking some decent photos to begin with. But the second half of that is taking your photos and putting them up a notch, by editing them beautifully. And so I teach you how to do a number of different things, in Photoshop, some things that you might have, been curious about in the past. I mean, simple things like adding text and, creating like text graphics and things like that, to actually building a complete advertisement, like a GIF style or GIF style advertisement. Just so many different things, color correction, how to fix items that are in your picture. If there's like an error or you feel like you want to remove a part of your image, how to do all that seamlessly. Photoshop is a very powerful professional editing tool that luckily is very accessible to people like us who are business owners. And it really is the second half of how I make great images that pop. It's not just about taking great photos. You also need to edit them so that they look great. So that is what you will learn in the 5 modules of the course, okay? So let's talk about what you get in the Digital Styling Lightroom. So Digital Styling Lightroom, I like to call it DSLR or Charmed DSLR. So if I say that, just make sure that's what I'm talking about. So what you get in DSLR, you get 5 video modules that are over 3.5 hours of content. You also get my slides and notes to follow along, and you get tip sheets and worksheets to apply the lessons to your brand and business. I also have a bunch of bonuses, of course. I've included in this course the exposure triangle cheat sheet. So if you're someone who's using a DSLR or someone who's really interested in the fundamentals of photography, I have this cheat sheet that my students have said, people who have already gone through DSLR have said, like, this is like such a lifesaver to understand how the 3 elements of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO work together so that you're using that DSLR camera and you're taking the best possible, like, professional looking shots. So that is bonus number 1. Bonus number 2 is my lighting guide. One of the frequently asked questions that I get about photography is, how do you get the right lighting? How do you get the right color balance? This cheat sheet will show you how to set up your lighting so that you are creating a nice, even, color tone, white balance for your images. So it means that you don't have to do as much editing in post when you get into Photoshop, okay? Bonus number 3 is the photography resource guide. So I put together a whole guide full of extra resources, things that I would recommend, cameras, lenses, books, different, software, lots of different things in this photography resource guide. If you're someone who wants to take it a step more, and get a little bit more information as well. There's a resource guide. And then the bonus number 4 is my styled photography shot guide. I used to give this as like a special bonus, but this is now I've included it in the course because so many people said it was so crucial to them going through this course and it helped them so much. So this styled photography shot guide is actually just a guide with over 30 perfectly styled examples that you can go ahead and copy with your own branding and your own items in accordance with the course and what I teach you. So this is basically like makes it a no-brainer for you. If you're like, how do I set up a shot for like a blog header? I show you examples of blog headers. If you're like, I want to style a shot for my a product shot, I give you examples. So you've got over 30 perfectly styled examples for you to just mix and match and do your own thing with that. And it helps you to understand what you should be creating because you've got something to visually compare your work to. Okay, so that's bonus number 4. So what should this cost? Okay, so I've talked about all this great information and all this great content in this course. How much does this cost? Okay, so when I created this course, I really created it because I was not seeing any other course like it on the market, okay? When I searched for styled stock photography courses, what I found was a live in-person styling class that was like a 3-day weekend. It was like a long weekend that you would go and take this class, and it was $2,500. To be fair, it looks like a wonderful class. Like it does look very well done. I've never taken it, so I don't know, but everything I see about it always looks beautiful. It looks great, but it's limited. You can't take it from the privacy of your own home. You have to travel to attend one of these live classes. The classes fill up, and it's very expensive. I would say prohibitively expensive to some people to spend, $2,500 or more on a class, okay, to teach you styled photography. I've also seen some digital webinar styling classes that have cost about $350. Now, these were sort of like what I'm doing right now, like a kind of like a live webinar where someone was just sharing their tips with you. And that cost $350. Now, again, I've never taken it. Looks pretty nice. I don't know. I don't think it's actually available anymore. It was just something I found when I was doing research. But I mean, one of the great things about Charm DSLR is that I have each module I've photographed and I've videoed, so that it's optimized for your learning. It's hard to kind of learn through a webinar like this. It would be hard for me to show you how I photograph through a live webinar like this because the quality isn't great. There's not much that I can show you through my computer, but Charm DSLR was videoed on my, on high quality, recording and on my digital camera. So you're really getting a really good view of everything that I'm doing, especially when I'm doing that, the actual live shooting portion. So, it's not as easy to follow along when you're doing sort of like a live webinar, and that costs $350. So this is like what I found when I was trying to price this course. The great thing is that the Digital Styling Lightroom, it costs only $197, so it's less than all of these options. It was really important to me that this course be as accessible to people as possible. It's a lot of information. You're getting a lot of value in this course, but I want to make sure that people are able to afford it, right? And $197 is a much more reasonable cost for what you're getting, in my opinion, okay? But you guys who are watching this right now today are my dedicated followers, right? So I don't want you to have to pay $197. Your cost is going to be only $97, okay? So I've taken $100 off that price for you, and it's a $97 course. You have to use the link bit.ly/charmdslr97 and you get the course for the special follower price. So there's a link down in the description box if you're ready right now to get started with stock photography and you want to learn my exact process, everything that I know about photography that's pertinent for you guys. Go ahead, click that link, and feel free to purchase right now, okay? I'm going to continue on though, in case there are those of you out there who still have questions, okay? So who is this course for? I want to be very clear who this course is for so you know if it's right for you. This course is for a blogger, business owner, or social media enthusiast who needs to style products or create images for their websites, ad campaigns, shop listings, and social media feeds. It's also designed for a solopreneur or a business owner with a small team that wants to streamline their photography process to get better results in a shorter period of time. You guys know I'm all about work smarter, not harder. That's like my mantra. And that is what Charm DSLR is all about. It's about learning exactly what you need to know in order to get the job done and streamline everything so that you're saving the maximum amount of time that you can. This is also for you if you want to learn how to create high quality advertisements that will attract followers and sell your products. This is also for you. So, like I said, I teach you a lot of things, not just photography and composition and how to do styled stock photography, but I also teach you about how to use Photoshop. It's a great little basics course that I'm teaching you with a few pinpointed things that are a little bit more than basic, more than just the 101 class of Photoshop. You get the 101 and a little bit of like the 201, some things that I know you're easy to follow along, and I show you exactly what to do step by step to create those high quality advertisements and do some interesting things with Photoshop that, are a little bit more complicated than just adding text, right? So I'm teaching you a little bit more advanced things that I think are very important to know if you're trying to do your styled stock photography for your brand, okay? Again, I've got that link up on the screen at any time you want to purchase. It is down in the description box as well, and you can purchase the course for $97. Okay, so I also want to share with you guys who this is not for, okay? Because I think it's important that people understand there is a limitation to this course, and I don't want to sell this course to someone that the course is not right for, okay? It's very important to me that only the people who actually need this, the people who need the styled branded photography, and the people who are really clear on what they're getting, I want to make sure we are very clear on who this is not for, okay? So this course is not for someone who wants to learn how to become a professional photographer. This course does not go in depth on all types of photography, just styling branded stock photography. It's very important to understand. You're not going to become a professional wedding photographer after this course. You are just going to become a pro, a master of styled stock photography for your own brand, okay? It's very specified to your own brand, okay? Now, if you're someone that's already using styled stock photography successfully and you're pleased with your results, I want you to email me first and let me evaluate your skill level to see if you need this. I will be able to tell based on the photos that you're already producing whether or not you can get you'll find improvement through Charm DSLR. So if you're not sure this is right for you, if you're someone who's like already into photography and you're just not sure, this is a very specialized type of photography we're talking about. This isn't something that like you learn about in college or, if you take a course on photography. Generally, it doesn't teach you about styled stock photography and branding and visual branding like that. So if you're not sure, ask me. I am more than willing to help you guys and decide whether or not this is going to be money well spent for you. Finally, if you're someone who wants to learn branding and or how to design in Photoshop, this is also not for you. Although branding is a heavy element in this, it's not a course to teach people how to brand. It's a course to teach people how to infuse their own brand into their images. And that's completely different than just flat out branding. Also, if you're trying to learn how to be a Photoshop designer, like I said, this is not the course for you. I do give you like a nice, like quick and dirty on Photoshop, and I go in depth onto some really key features that I think you should be using, but this isn't going to teach you how to be a pro. You're not going to become a graphic designer after this. So just keep that in mind, okay? If you are someone who is interested in branding, so if you came here today and you're like, I really want to learn how to build my brand, I have a branding workbook in my empire building program. So you may want to go to my shop and look for the branding workbook because that might be what you need. And again, if you have questions, feel free to email me. I'm more than willing to help you guys. Okay, so are you guys ready to get started? Because this course is 100% complete right now. All the downloads are ready and you can start immediately once you purchase. If you don't want to start now, don't worry. You can buy now and lock in the special pricing and the bonuses and start once you're ready. Again, that link is bit.ly/charmdslr97 for a $97 special on this program. So what are the next steps if you're interested in purchasing and you haven't already? You're going to go ahead and go to that link that's in the description box, that bit.ly/charmdslr97. You're going to check out via PayPal. Don't worry if you don't have a PayPal account. PayPal will allow you to put in your credit card information and it'll process your payment without having to save your information. That's very important you guys understand that you don't have to have PayPal to actually check out, but PayPal is the secure method that I use to process my payments. Once you've paid via PayPal, you'll be redirected back to my shop and you'll have access to the PDF Quick Start Guide with all the information to access the course and the downloads, plus my tips for getting started. This will also be emailed to you if you miss it when you go back to the site in your redirect. So it will be in your email. The email will look something like a receipt and you're going to see a link that will let you download the Quick Start Guide, okay? So like I said, you can enjoy the course from any device when and wherever you like. This is just a little peek inside the members area, what it kind of looks like when you go on various devices. All 5 video modules and all the downloads and bonuses are there ready for you to get started, okay? And remember I mentioned that bonus, the shooting with a smartphone, okay? If you purchase now, okay, during the course of this webinar, you can buy and you buy for $97, you're also going to get the fast action bonus module, which is shooting with a smartphone. This is bonus module 6, and this teaches you how to use your smartphone to shoot and edit styled stock images on the go. So I teach you guys the basics of shooting with a phone via, as opposed to shooting with a camera or DSLR. Plus, I show you how to shoot. And I give you my tips and tricks, and I show you how I edit images on the go as well. So this is bonus number 6, shooting with a smartphone. If you guys are ready to get started, you've got a lot of information ready for you to learn styled stock photography. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I'm so happy. I can't wait for you guys to join the course if this is something that you're looking forward to. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to do an open Q&A for you guys. And so at this point, if you guys have any questions, I want you to ask me right now. Like I said, if there was a question you had and it didn't get answered, please ask me now because we've got an open Q&A. In the meantime, because I do know that there is a little bit of a delay, I am going to first start off with some frequently asked questions that I always get about the course. Okay, so question number 1 is, how long do you have to access the course? The course is always available to you guys for as long as my website exists. So this is not something where you only have a week or a month or a year to access it. You have access to this course for as long as it exists, including any updates I make to it. So for example, I'm updated with this module number 6, this bonus module, right? This is something that my previous students get automatically because they were early adopters, right? So when you buy into all of the updates as well. This course is a living, breathing course. I'm always thinking of ways to make it better. I'm always listening to my students to see how I can answer their questions and help them more. So this is not just like a one-time and, you watch it once and you're done. You have access to this to come back and back as long as you need to. Question number 2 is, do you need a DSLR camera to do this course? You absolutely do not need a DSLR. While I do recommend that you use a DSLR because it is the best type of camera for any sort of professional photography, you can totally get benefit out of this course if you are someone using a point and shoot or even an iPhone, okay? So I do think, like I said, I don't think that everyone is at the point where they need a DSLR. I think that the information I give you in this course and the processes that I show you can very easily apply whether or not you're using a phone or a DSLR. I do think a DSLR is the best option, but it's not the only option. And if you want to get started building your brand, if you're starting a business right now, use whatever camera you have. Like I said, use the best camera you have. I mentioned that earlier. Use the best camera you have right now and get your business up and running, get your brand building, and then you can upgrade to the DSLR later, okay? Next question is, what if I need specific help or have other questions? So you guys, like I said, this is a living, breathing course. When you purchase this course, you also get access to me. I'm not leaving you high and dry. If there's something that you guys have that's a little bit quirky about your business or a question that you have, I'm there to answer it for you at any time, right? You just shoot me an email and I will work with you directly to just answer whatever problems or questions or things that you've got going on. So you're not doing this alone, you're doing it with me, okay? So that's pretty much the major questions I get. Now I'm going to go back through here and see if you guys have questions from the beginning, and then I'll take the questions that just came in. Yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Yes, so many yeses. Look at all the yeses. So those first set of yeses were for whether or not if there was a solution that could help you learn photography and streamline the process, would you want it? This is the solution, you guys. I said we were going to come back to it. This is the solution. This course is $97. It teaches you exactly what you need to know about styled photography and branding your images, and it shows you a process. I really teach you my personal process for streamlining this entire thing so that you're shooting less and you're getting more bang for your time, right? So that's a yes there. That's awesome. And we've got some more yeses. Perhaps that was for the second question about whether you see that photography is important for you. So awesome. It really seems that you guys are really on, you guys are on the same page with me on this, which is great. Okay, so someone asked, I'm a consultant for another company. They know their editorial calendar and sales for the month. How can I create an editorial calendar if I don't know what they're going to do because you translate yours? Well, if you're a consultant for the company, they should be sharing that. If you're saying that they have their editorial calendar, you should be working with them to get that calendar. If you're someone who's creating images for another client, like for a client, if that's what you're saying, Connie, they should be sharing that with you so that you can, if you're someone who's responsible for their branding and their graphics, they should be sharing their editorial calendar with you so you can do the promotion. I hope that's what you were meaning. Okay, Anne says that she completed Charm DSLR a few months ago. It was fabulous. Very organized, easy to follow, inspirational, helpful. Thank you so much, Anne. Did you go in and make sure you go do Module 6 too? Because that was updated recently. So, Anne, if you did it a few months ago, make sure you go in and get Module 6. You have access to it because you had purchased a while ago. So, Jenny says, Alexis, could I still benefit from the Charm DSLR course if I only have an iPhone 6s to shoot? Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I think I just answered that for you. How can I improve my photography as an Etsy seller of printable fashion illustrations? Take this course. That would improve your photography. Practice makes perfect, like I said. It doesn't matter what you're selling, you guys. I technically don't sell any physical products, and you guys have seen my photography. You guys have told me a million times that you think I do an excellent job with my branded photography. I don't sell anything physical. Everything I sell is either a course, or it's an info product, or it's a digital download. So I have, if in terms of, if you have something to sell, you have an easier time. If you have something physical that you're selling, it's much easier for you to actually take photos and promote. So I hope that helps, Jaroslava. Where are the videos in the package hosted? Do you have access forever and at any time? Yes, you have absolutely have access forever. It is hosted online, and it runs through my website, and you have access at any time of day or night, always. As long as my site still exists, as long as I'm still alive, still doing this, you guys have access to it. How long is the price going to be? $97. Okay, so the $97 price expires on the 31st. After the 3rd. So basically you have till the end of this month, Eastern Standard Time, to get in to the price. Do I have any advice on watermarking pictures? Is it necessary? No, I do not like... Oh, Mickey, I know. Mickey, is that you? My friend who loves Disney World? You should not watermark pictures. I do not believe so. Number one, I think it looks really tacky. The truth of the matter is a lot of people watermark because they're afraid someone's going to steal their images. It really doesn't happen as often as you think. And if it does, generally speaking, it's not hurting your business in any way. So the chances are that someone's going to steal your images and like use it. Like the only way it would be negative, like someone was taking your images and like selling them, which people don't really do. So I think watermarking pictures is a bad idea. I think it takes away from the beautiful images that you're taking. And to be honest with you, if someone wants to steal your images anyway, removing a watermark is not hard. I could remove a watermark in Photoshop pretty easily. So if someone really wants to do something negative and like take your pictures, they can get around it anyway. Okay, Jenny. Yes, I answered your question. Perfect. Chris Lloyd says fabulous. Connie says thanks for the webinar. You're so welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. Would the course be appropriate for taking physical product shots? Yes. I do have examples of photos that are physical product shots. This is absolutely geared towards that as well. There's going to be a whole section. There's not a whole module, but when I go through and show you how to shoot, I show you guys how to shoot products as well. That's like specifically a section of one of the modules. Yes, it's you, Mickey. I knew it was you. Okay. I saw Mickey Pretty Pink Bow. I'm like, I know who that is. So thank you for joining me, Mickey. Does anyone else have any other questions? Look how good we're doing on time, you guys. Oh my God, I can't believe I just blew through that. It's because I was very conscious that I was not going to talk your ears off. Okay, so Jana says that she really struggles with photographing your jewelry, some of which are one-of-a-kind pieces. Do you think this course will help you streamline the process? Absolutely. And like I just said to Closet Delights, this course has a whole little segment when we're actually shooting where I kind of explain to you how to shoot products from like different angles and like different sorts of configurations or compositions. So the course is really great for, if you're someone who has a product-based business, like you actually sell something physical and ship it to people, this course is perfect for you. It's perfect for you. I give myself as an example that I'm someone who just doesn't have anything physical. It's all like digital and it's all like courses and services, which are harder to photograph. But even in that scenario, in the course, I walk through how to get around that. So okay, so someone says, maybe off topic, but would the class help with ebook promotion and ebook covers? I would say no. Now, in terms of ebook promotion, if you're trying to promote an ebook online, get in touch with me, Summer Savings, because I do have a course that's for that. It's called Empire Building, and that's all about online marketing and promotion. But this course is not going to teach you how to like design an ebook cover. It won't. I mean, if you have your ebook and you want to start taking promotional pictures of it, right, it will help with that. But it's not going to help you with, are you saying like generic promotion or taking photos of your digital ebook? Because I have digital ebooks and I promote with my photography using everything that I teach you guys in this course. So I'm sorry if I'm unclear about the question. Yeah, but let me know. Someone says they're leaving early. Awesome. Okay, no problem. Thank you for joining me. Awesome. Okay, Jana, go for it. Yes, this is a course. If you have physical products, you are golden. And it's whatever you sell. If you are either someone who sells digital products or physical products or services, because I promote my services all the time, you guys. So, this is definitely a course that's going to teach you the fundamentals of branding graphics. And there's so many different examples that I show you in the course. Awesome, Jaroslava. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, you guys, anyone else have any other questions? I'll stay here as long as you guys have questions. Yes. Yes, if you've seen my ebook promotions, this will show you how to take pictures of the ebooks. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. The offer is ending on the 31st. So the 31st at midnight Eastern time. So you have about a week from today. You have 7 days. Okay? And I will stay here as long as you guys need me to. I'm all yours. Betty says she got here late. Yes, there is going to be a replay, and the email will go out tomorrow, Betty. But right now, Betty, you actually may be able to you should probably just be able to pull the video all the way back and you can watch it from the beginning. So if you're here right now, you can watch it right now. Great, Elaine, I'm so glad. And yes, it's early. It's really late or really early there. Get to sleep. Awesome, Lori. Yes, I saw your purchase this morning. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly, Connie. Yes, I've priced this for other small business owners because when I was getting started doing this and I did not see a course like this, everything that I price, it's like I try to make sure I'm thinking about how much would I have been able to afford in that position. So that's why a lot of my products are very reasonable. Awesome, awesome. Great, Betty. Yeah, just pull up to the beginning, Betty. You'll be fine. Okay. Anyone else have questions? Like I said, I'll stay here for as long as you guys have questions. I'm not going to leave until you guys are done. And of course, if you guys leave this webinar and you think of questions later, feel free to email me. You can go to my site and I've got contact information there so you guys can email me. Yes. Lady Mensa, it says, will the DSLR training help us make pictures that can be placed on a personal online store? Yes. That's the purpose of this course, is to help you take pictures that'll go on your online store or on your social media or on your website or on your blog. Yes. These are for photos of products as well. We talk about product photography in the course. I hope that answers your question. Yes, is the answer. Okay, any more questions? When taking shots, should there be 2 styles for one item? Yeah, you can totally do that. I think the more shots, the better. And in DSLR, I show you some really good options for shooting your products. Oh, I mean, you don't have to use different styles of shots for social media and other for your websites. I mean, when you're putting a product on your online shop for a listing, you're going to have shots that are going to be like just the item itself. And then you're going to have some other shots that'll be like styled images as well. And the course teaches you how to do all of those. So obviously you can choose to put whatever you want on social media. But It's up to you. Great, Anne. I'm so glad you enjoyed the webinar. I can't stop looking at the marble background on the screen. Will you teach me how to make that? No, that's actually marble that I'm photographing on. Like, not marble, but it's a marble backdrop, which I talk about different backdrops in setting up your set in the course. So that's not something that I've created. That's something that's real that I'm photographing. Okay, great. I'm so glad. I hope that helped, Lady Mensa. Okay, you guys. Any more questions? Let me know. A bunch of you are still on here, probably seeing if someone asks a good question. Yes, what model camera and lens you use. I talk about that in the course, but well, right now, I mean, I recommend a specific camera in the course, which is a camera I used to use, but I've upgraded. Right now I use a Canon 80D with a couple of different lenses. I use 50 millimeter, a 24 millimeter, and an 18 to 55 millimeter zoom. But I recommend a good camera, a good DSLR camera for beginners that I absolutely love. I still have it. I just, it's not my main camera that I use to shoot. But it's affordable and it's really sturdy and a great beginner DSLR. You have an iPhone 5S. Do you think it's obsolete for photo taking, or should you upgrade to an iPhone 6? I mean, iPhones, I mean, I feel like iPhones, I don't know, obviously every iteration they get better. That's up to you. I mean, if that's going to be your camera that you're going to use and your phone, I mean, maybe it would be worth it to upgrade, but that's really up to you. I mean, a 5S to a 6, that's not that much of a difference. It's not like you're going from like an iPhone 4 to a 6. Okay, Lady Mensa says, is it best to shoot products outdoors in natural light or indoors with a light box? I talk about that in the course. Either one of those is actually fine. I show you guys how to set up a set indoors with lighting. Because you can't always trust that outdoor light or natural light is going to be perfect for your shots. Awesome, Jenny. Okay, so Jenny, send me an email and I'll try to get you a link to where I got my marble thing. Yeah, so Closet Delights is saying I took great shots with your iPhone's 3G years ago. That's the thing, is like the technology is pretty good on iPhones. So you know, especially if you have like some fundamentals of photography that you're keeping in mind, you know, it's great. Jenny says, how do you feel about mirrorless cameras? I think they're great. I think they're great and they're very compact. I think they're, if it's, you know, if it comes to whether or not you want to get a mirrorless camera with interchangeable lenses or a DSLR, to me, it's your own personal preference. I mean, you know, mirrorless cameras seem to be like the thing. It's hard to say. Like, it really is hard to say, but I will tell you this, that any camera that you get, you'll be able to master it. It's just about finding the camera that has the functions that you need, which is why I recommend a very specific camera, like camera line in the course, because I find it to be very like priced well, and I think that it has all of the important features you need. Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, if you just got it for Christmas, summer savings, I mean, I don't know if you want to go ahead and upgrade already. That's I think your 5S will be fine. There shouldn't be that big of a deal between 5S and 6. And then save your money for a DSLR camera would be my suggestion, or like a nicer point and shoot down. So I'm going to go ahead and click out. I know there's still a bunch of you watching, which is awesome. But that could be people who came in and watched at the beginning too. I'm not sure. But of course, if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I'm always willing to help you guys. And if you have any questions about purchasing the course, especially, let me know and I will work those out with you. And we'll get you settled, right? Okay, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And I look forward to talking to you guys again, okay? I'm going to go ahead and stop this presentation. Oh, there I am. So I will talk to you guys later, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys learned a lot. And tag me in any pictures if you know, even if you don't get the course and you just kind of learned things and you want to share them with me, absolutely tag me in your pictures on Instagram. I love seeing that and seeing what you're doing and how you've implemented, you know, the strategies that I'm sharing with you guys. So, yeah, definitely stay in touch and I'll see you later. Bye-bye, you guys.